Hello, welcome back to the Microsoft Excel training. In today's video, we're looking at the find function. The find function is a text function, and you use this find function to locate the position of a specific character or substring within a text string. Okay, so it returns a number of representing it returns a number representing the starting position of a searched text. The syntax is find, then what is the particular text you want to find, you put it in an inverted comma, and then within which text, and then of course the start number, or what you want to use as a start number for the search. Now, the key features here is find the position of a substring in a text string. And it's case sensitive. So find function is case sensitive. So if you use capital A, you are finding a capital letter. If you use a lowercase, maybe lowercase a, you treat it differently. So it returns an error value if the text is not found. And then it works well with left, right, mid functions for any text extraction. Then you can use search instead if you need to be case insensitive in your search. So the find function is used for locating specific text patterns and extracting information in Excel. So let's go into the Excel worksheet and see how this is done. Now, this is an example here. So I have some names here. I'm just going to remove this and I'm going to do it again. So if I want to find a particular text here, I can say equals find. Then we'll say what text am I finding? I'll say, okay, I'm trying to find W. Okay, that W is in capital letter. And then within which text? I'll say within this text. And then what is the start number? So I can say 1 is the start number. So it tells me that this character can be found in number 9. So if you count from A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8 is the space and the character is the 9th letter. So because it counts space. So if you drop it like this, you see that you have no value because W can't be found in this text. So sometimes you can use the find function to assign a task to any value that comes with that, whether by position or whether by whatever it means you want to convert that position into. Okay. But let's say we're trying to use it for another task differently. And what we're trying to do is now if I want to take the text, the first name here, let's say if I put equals left, and I say what's the text, I say this, and I said what's the number of characters from the left, and I put, let's say, 7. So I get this as this value. And if I drop this down, I mean, it doesn't look so well for other names, as you can see, because we assume that this extracted the first name. But for this, the 7th character came to this point. And for this, it came to that point, and only Williams match the 7th character. So if we want to get this first character, then what we need to do is, let me just repair the function I've done so that you grab what we are doing. So what we need to do is use the left function, but to get this particular position, we will use the find. Okay? So the find text is saying, which text are we looking for? We'll say find the empty string. That's what you should find, because it is the empty string that divides each of the value. And then it says within which text? We say within this particular text. And then start number, we say just put 1 as the first character. And for the find, so for the find, let me put this space here. I didn't put that space very well. So for the find, it brings that name. It found the position of this within that text and returned it. And so what we're trying to say is that for every left that it wants, for every character it wants to get from the left, it should use the position of the space as its location number. Okay, so that's what we've done here, and with that we can easily get the first names. So now let me show you what I mean again. So if I put this formula here and I remove the find, the location of the find, what is this saying? Number of characters. And I said 7 because I know the number of characters here. But if I don't know the number of characters, then I can find the number of the position of the space. So each of the space has its own position. So what we have just done is to use the find function to find the position of the space within this character, and that is what we've done. So this returns 8, this returns 6, returns 5. So what this function has done is to provide these values here. So at the point where it finds 8, it will bring that. Where it finds 6, it will bring that. And that is why this function works. So it's more or less doing like this. So let me also show you what I mean. So this is the breakdown. This is the breakdown of the find function. This is the combination of the find and the text function. So now let's say I have a text function, a left function, and then I pick this as my text, and I said the number of characters should be what? Should be this cell. That is covering the cell. That is E2. Should be E2. So what it means is that I combined this with this to get this. So that's just it. So E2. So if I bring it down, you see that it gave me the same. So if we look at this, you see that that's what we did. We combined the find so that the find will provide the value there. And then the value, so if you use find, this is what it will do. So instead of using it separately, we have combined the find into the left function for the find function to provide the position. So that's for that. But now let's use it here also. Let's use the find and the left function here. So we want to say left, and our text is this. And then what are we trying to do? We're trying to find the position of this @ sign so that we can return the names instead of the email address. We want to return the name before the email address. So, but we don't have the number of characters because they are not all the same. This is different number of characters and they are not the same. So we'll use the find function to find which text are we finding? We are finding the @ sign. That's the position of the dividing, that's the delimiter. That's what divides these two. Name to this side, @ sign, the email name to the other side. So now we have this, within which text, we'll say within this text, and then we put a comma, and then the starting number, of course, we put 1, and then we close the bracket, and then hit the enter. So now, if you notice, it's bringing the @ sign, and the reason is because even with this, we have 8. You see that when we did find here, we found up to the position of the space, and whatever you have here is showing with the space. So logically it added space to all this. That's why it's adding @ sign. So if you don't want it to add the @ sign at this point, so at the end of the function you put -1. So with that -1, it will subtract one space backward, and then you'll be able to have a correct version of what you want. So that is how we brought that out. Now let me come back to this place. I want to have extracted the first name here. So I'm going to remove this data. I'm done with this. So we have extracted the first name here. The first name, and we want to get the surname or the last name here. So what are we going to do? We're going to say equals right. So we'll use the right function. And then what is our text? So our text is B2. That's our text. Then what is the number of character? Now, because this is counting to the right side, this is going to be a little bit different. Because it's counting to the right side, if we just say find, and then we say find text, and then we put a space, and within which text we say this, and then we go start number, we say 1, and then we close our brackets, we're going to have something that is not very, that does not make sense. Okay? So logically what we want to do is, first of all, to get the number of the length of each of the character. Okay? So if we put here, within this function, before the find, we want to find what is the number, the length of the character. So what this will do to us is it will give us the total number of characters here. It will give us the total number of characters. We will now subtract whatever we find, the location of the space away from the number of characters. So if this one returns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If this one returns 13, we are going to subtract the location of the space from it. So we use the find function to find the space. So we are subtracting. So what are we subtracting? We subtract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when we subtract 8 from 13, it's going to give us 5. And that is why we have that 5 character. So this one also has its own difference. By the time it gets what is the total number of character and the location of space here, it will subtract, and that is how you get the last name easily extracted. So reason why we add the len function and subtract it is because we want to know the total number of character and subtract the location of the space away from it to get that. So it's quite logical. And the same thing applies to this. If we're trying to attract the email account type, so we're also going to use the right function here, and we're going to say the text is this, and we're going to provide a len, that is the length function, to know what is the length of this, and we're going to subtract the position of the space. So we are going to find space. We find space within this text, and of course the beginning value is that. No, sorry, we are not finding space here. We are finding @ here. So I have to put the @ in there. So we find the @ and then of course we don't even need to choose the position. Just with that we are good to go. So with this now we can get the email account of, so we have extracted the username and we have extracted the email account. So you can see that this find function is quite good for extracting data and then of course getting the position of a text within a string of text. All right, so this is how to use the find function and many more that you can explore. So this is where I'm going to stop for now. Bye for now.